of you.
We're just gonna say the Jonesboro Library. How are you doing today?
I am fabulous. It's Friday. It's a beautiful day.
Wow, I need to get out and let some vitamin D hit my skin on today. So, all right. So, it's been a long time since you have been here, and so we're just going to jump into our conversation, catch up with what's been going on at the library. I know that you all haven't been able to have the activities at the level that you're used to, but just so let's just talk about where you are now, post summer. School started. What's happening?
So we actually have been working really hard to be able to open up as much as possible. I know in the
Okay.
beginning we weren't open really at all for a long time, other than doing pickup services, which we are still doing.
Okay.
So if we're interested in picking up something at the library without having to come in. We are still doing that service. All you have to do is reserve something. You can reserve a DVD or a book or anything um, at any of our libraries. So you
Okay.
can to pick up at the Jonesboro Library, or starting just this week, the Brooklyn Public Library. We
The
started doing
Brooklyn.
what's that? The Brooklyn Public Library started doing pickup services there, and we only do it a couple days a week. Um,
Okay.
it's something where we have a new operating system. That's something else we did during
Okay.
all of this going on. We just like any company, the system which you use to operate your business, we changed that. So it also changed the way the interface looks. So when you go online and you go to libraryinjonesboro.org, which you should, it's a great place to go to, and you look for a title, say you want to read any new book or check out a movie, what you would do is you want to make sure you're looking for titles at the library where you live. So if you live around Caraway, you want to make sure that you're looking for titles, but you can break it down by branch,
Okay.
and at make sure you're requesting titles in the community where you normally visit the library.
Okay.
Uh, so we also have opened up more, so you can come to the library Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. We aren't very busy because people are being cautious.
Okay.
We encourage and appreciate, but anyone who wants to come and visit us, you can visit the main library, the adult service or the adult collection and the DVDs from
Okay.
9 until. We also have our children's library and our computers open. Previously, they were by appointment only. Now it's service space is limited. We don't
Okay.
have all the computers open because we have plexiglass dividers, and we only have a certain number of the computers open, so we can maintain that 6 feet of space between people, and we only have a certain number of spaces available in the children's library every hour. So just if you are in the area, stop by, and usually we have space. We just like to say space is limited.
Okay. Alrighty. So I know a lot of the parents probably really miss the lab sit time, story time, things of that nature. So are you all able to do some things virtually? How is that working?
So we offer story time. You can really go anytime and watch it, because once the videos are posted on our Facebook and YouTube channels, they're there. But
Okay.
we post story times every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. That is for all ages. It's our family story time, and then we have Tiny Tales, which is our lap sit baby,
Oh,
on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And they're all posted at 10 a.m. Again,
okay.
anytime after 10, say today is Friday, Miss AJ will have a story time that will be posted in about an hour. And schedule all of those. They're all pre recorded. So they all have a theme. So we have coming up, we have harvest and farm and birthdays are our
Okay,
prime.
good news.
So we're doing celebrations and birthdays is our last. It'll be, I think, the third week of this month,
Okay.
and then we'll take a break. We're looking into what we can do in December. We're not going to be able to have our story time with Santa event, because that event is always just, it's very, we love that it's super crowded, but not right now.
Yeah.
So we're not able to host that event, but we will be doing craft events for kids where we'll have craft bags available. Also, speaking of crafts, every week there's a craft to go along with story time. So you
Okay.
can have a kiddo and you're watching our story times, or maybe you haven't watched our story times yet and you want to, you can come to the library and pick up that craft for that week.
Okay. All right, so go pick up the craft bag, go watch the videos. You can still be engaged with what's happening with the library. The babies can still get that story time in, and they get to hear their favorite librarian, whoever is reading at that time.
So every
um,
Monday, it's Miss Rebecca, Miss Jerica. Her story times are on Wednesday, and Miss AJ's on Friday. So just
okay.
make them all.
Alrighty. Now, okay, let's switch to the tweens, teens, young adults. They were meeting at one point and having their book clubs, and they were having other sessions. I know before summer they had started something. It was basically having discussions, these discussion sessions. And so talk about what's happening with those age groups.
So we have a new young adult services librarian, or our teen librarian, teen services librarian, if I can get the words out correctly. Miss Jolene Mullet started during the pandemic, and she's doing great. She has actually hosted an event virtually. We had every October we have a young adult author come, and this year, we couldn't have a couple hundred students in a room together, and so
Mm-hmm.
we have that event in person, but we hosted an author, Miss Tiffany Jackson, and she was phenomenal. She wrote a book called Monday's Not Coming, and it was about talking about how children that go missing, especially those of the minority population, they're not paid as much attention to oftentimes. And so she wrote this wonderful book about this girl that goes missing, and no one seems to care. No
Oh,
one
wow.
seems to know that she's gone missing. And she was so engaging over Zoom, and so it was just such a wonderful event. And we are doing another event this Sunday, November 8th
Okay.
at 6 p.m. It is it's called well, I'm not going to remember it right now.
Is
But
it
I
on
think
your Facebook page?
it is a paranormal event. I think it's Visiting the Beyond. But it'll be on our Facebook page. It's an event we've created, so you can go and join the event. If you join the event and say that you're going, we will send you out the link via Facebook messaging so that you can attend the event. Or you can email jmullet, JMULLET, at libraryinjonesboro.org, or you can go to our website, libraryinjonesboro.org, and click on it. Is literally the only event on our events calendar because we're not able to do events right now. But since this is a virtual event, we created an event, and you can click her email address there. You can click it from our Facebook event, or if you say you're going, we'll send you the link anyway. So,
Okay.
Kurt Strutz is a lecturer from Wisconsin, and going to be interactive. So those who are attending the event, and again, since this is an event we're hosting, you have to email us to be sent the Zoom link. We're not going to just post it
Okay.
up on Facebook page. You have to email Miss Jolene at jmullet@libraryinjonesboro.org. But we'll post that up on our Facebook page. It's in the event, but we'll post it on our Facebook page again today. But he is going to talk about, asylums and hospitals and prisons and hotels and just all sorts of different places. But what's great is the audience can say, okay, I really want to see this kind of haunted place. And be like, okay.
Oh, wow. I'm looking at it now. Sorry. It says Visiting the Beyond Paranormal Virtual Event, November 8th at 6 p.m. So if this is something you're interested in, go click the link. Well, you can't see that. Um, on the Facebook, if you start typing in Craighead County, you'll get a bunch of pop-ups. But it's the library, the public library. So go to their page, click on events, and it's literally at the top of the events uh list. So go check that out if you're interested. Now, is there an age limit on this?
So there's not. We want as many people to attend our virtual events as possible. The guy, Mr. Kurt, did say that it's not intended for children. So
Okay.
it is an event hosted by our teen library, but it is for teens and adults, anyone who's interested. But he did let us know that it wouldn't probably be the best thing for kids to watch. It might be
Okay.
a little scary. We're talking about hauntings.
Okay. I got you.
But
All right.
Miss Jolene is working hard to engage teens. She's made a lot of really awesome craft kits. She did a little mini canvas that they can paint. She's done air succulents a couple of months ago. She has right now a sugar skull craft where it's a little um, um, thing that they can decorate. She's been doing a lot of really fun things. And any teens who are interested in picking those up can do so at the library in our young adult collection,
All
which
right.
it's
So
right outside the children's library if you're interested in knowing where that is.
you said the air succulent. I know what a succulent. So what the air succulents?
Air plant, so it doesn't need water. It's a fascinating. Apparently it's not something that I could kill, which
Oh,
is me and plants are best friends. So I can garden, but inside the house plants we don't really
you
get
know.
along as well. But that's something we did over the summer. But she's doing craft kits a lot, and they're
Okay.
really really fun kits.
Okay. And I see that there was a quite a few activities like around Halloween and before in the month of October. So again, if you want to know what's happening at the library and what's coming up, go to the Craighead County Jonesboro Public Library Facebook page. You can find a lot of information, cool videos. I'm scrolling through and seeing some of the story time videos that have been posted, and your librarians go all out. Like they dress up and they get into character and they go all out, for the kids, for the community. And so that makes it helps to make the distance library experience still great.
It does, and Miss Jill has also been doing a lot of book talks recently. So if you're stuck. I get stuck a lot reading. Okay, I read this. I don't know what to read now. I really devoted my heart to this book, and now I just don't know where to go. Miss Jolene has been doing a lot of book talks to say, well, if you like this kind of book, you might like this. Also, in that same tone, our new operating system has a great feature. We used to have a program called Novelist, and we don't have that one anymore because our new access system has a great feature where if you say you search for Sherlock Holmes, it's going to give you at the bottom of that screen, it's going to pull up Sherlock Holmes books, but then it's also going to show, or Nancy Drew, so let's say Nancy Drew or the Hardy Boys or any of that kind of mystery, it's going to pull up other mysteries of that same type or other books by that same author. So it pulls up.
Wonderful.
So if you're like me and you finish something and you're like, oh my goodness, I really loved that. I'd love to read more. It'll have great suggestions.
Okay. I found that helpful. We're going to talk about Libby here now. Kind of, I know that's a weird transition, but if you're looking for something, Libby is also a great source, which is connected to the Cricket County Library. Um, you can either read the book or listen to audiobooks, and that within that source they do make suggestions, or like here's this author's other titles. And so I have found an author that I like, and whenever I get to school, I'm gonna start again trying to get into books for pleasure versus having to read for school. Having to read for
Start
school.
making a list so that I can have some suggestions. Not that you will need them, but like here during the time you were in school, here are the books that were awesome.
I know. All right,
Libby,
so we got about 4 minutes in this segment. So let's talk a little bit about the other locations and what's been happening there.
so we have 8 branches because I can say that now because Brooklyn is open for pickup.
Wow.
But we all of many of our branches are very small buildings. For instance, our Caraway Library is very small, and
Okay.
so none of our branches are open, and nor do they have a open date for
Okay.
reopening. So they are all doing pickups. So
Okay.
anyone who lives in those communities can go to libraryinjonesboro.org and search our catalog. Just make sure you're choosing titles that are in your library. And then that librarian will give you a call once that item is ready for pickup and schedule a day and time for you to come by your home library. May it be Wiener or Mark Tree or Lepanto or Brooklyn. And they will
Okay.
let you know that you can pick that title. Just again, make sure you're choosing titles that are in your library.
Okay. I know that we had been accustomed to, and I say we collectively as a nation have been accustomed to just going and doing whatever, whenever we wanted, and not really being concerned about who we're around, what we're touching, blah, blah. But now we're having to be a lot more mindful and conscientious of what we're doing. Um, I would like to think that this has sparked some creativity, especially among the kid, whatever age group, the kids. Do you think, or has there been discussions about helping those kids put that creativity to use? TikTok is just booming right now. Um, People are also, using Instagram. It's like all of these different apps are trying to compete and catch up with each other. And
Mhm.
so these kids, and there's some adults, so I gotta give adults credit too. They're creative, but these kids are just over the top creative. So do you think the library would ever try to incorporate some activities via virtual that can incorporate those kids' creativity?
I know Miss AJ. She's one of our children's librarians. She has been working for a while on things that she can do with the tweens. And the tweens are those who have, in the summer, we classify them as those who have finished fourth through sixth grades. So
Okay.
those kiddos that are almost teenagers, it's so close that they can feel it. But that is that age group that they're just so creative. Teenagers as well, but those kids, they want it so bad. They're just so creative, and so she is working really hard to find out what they want. So she has a suggestion box in the children's library right
Okay.
now, that if you have a tween, those not quite teenagers, you can bring them by the library and they can put their suggestions in that box.
Okay. So anyone out there listening with some tweens, or someone, tell them to go and put some suggestions out there. I would love to see. I know at one point you all were doing coding. I know it was kind of catered more to girls, but
Mhm.
I think in the space that we're in right now, everyone should learn code. I need to learn coding, and just how to successfully navigate all aspects of the computer, laptop, phone, tablet, whatever device you have. So stay. I'm gonna be on the lookout, see what's coming up with the library.
It's really hard to do a whole lot right now. We're doing everything we can think of. And it's so many people have that disconnect because so many of the kids are taking school via the computer, and
Yeah,
so it's hard to. That's our only real way to have engagement, and
and
it's uh,
I'm sure the last thing they want to do is get on a computer again once they
yeah.
get off from doing their work. We're going to give her take a break, but I do have a question, and we could talk a little bit about it in between because we'll still be live on Facebook. Then, because when we come back on the other side of our break, I want to talk about the resources, the oh, shit, just lost it. Those
Database.
resources database. There you go. We're going to take a break. For those of you listening on air, we're going to take a quick break. I was speaking with Ms. Brandi Hodges from the Craighead County Jonesboro Public Library. We're still going to be live on Facebook, so if you want to join our conversation, we're going to try to keep it rolling, but we won't leave you out of too much, I promise. So you're tuned in to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We'll be right back after these announcements. Okay, so we're off air, but still live. And I don't know why databases. And I had look when I'm laying down, I go through all these questions and talking points in my head, and then when it comes time to talk about, I'm like, what? I'm blank. But anyway, oh God, and I still lost my train of thought. What was? Please forgive me. I totally lost my train of thought. Okay. Oh my, what did I say we were going to talk about? I know everyone's looking like, what is she doing? What did I say we were going to talk about?
So we're talking a little bit about databases. Is that right?
Yes. Well, I want to save that more so when we get to the other side, when we get back on air. Um, I guess we'll talk about the kids some more. I'm sorry. I totally lost.
I do that all the time. I don't even know what I walk in a room for half the time.
Oh goodness. But I would love to see again, the kids becoming just more creative, using their energy. Oh, I know what I was gonna ask. Okay. I know that the weather's getting cooler and I know that you all are not, well, one, are you all gonna have or talking about another craft fair? I know that's kind of iffy too about having too many people.
I don't really I talked to our director yesterday, and we don't feel comfortable even thinking about having one for the foreseeable future.
Okay. Well, before the weather gets too cold, have y'all even talked about or considered maybe having something on the lawn? People bring their own blanket or chair and they space out and do
We
something.
actually talked about that yesterday, and it's still a concern because you can space out, you can paint chalk circles and tell people that they need to stay in their chalk circle, but it's just getting people to do it.
Yeah. I
And
understand.
it's we hate to host an event that. So I want to see how other events are held and how they do. There's an event downtown Jonesboro being held called Joy Fest, and so I wanted to see how it's handled, and
Okay.
because it's going to be outdoors as well, and they're going to have a concert and some different things. It looks so much fun, but I kind of want to see what others do.
Okay.
I
You
just
know,
want to
so that-
say our director, our assistant director, all of us, all the department heads, our whole goal is I don't want to get sick. I don't want you to get sick.
yes, ma'am. I've seen in like bigger cities that have really big, park spaces. Again, they put those circles down and people, for the most part, stayed in their space and they brought blankets and laid out. And I saw a concert. I don't know what country it was, and they had these little mini platform, these little, they look like little mini stages. I don't know. So everyone had their own little space, and I think they either brought their own chair. There were some chairs provided, whatever the case may be. But we got about 10 seconds before we go back on air. So then we'll talk about databases. Yeah. Okay. Oh goodness. All right, welcome back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM with my special guest, Ms. Brandi Hodges from the Craig County Jonesboro Public Library. I had a bit of a brain freeze going into this break, but we're back, and now we're going to transition a little and talk about the different databases the library has to offer. So take it away, Ms. Brandi.
So we have some great ones for kids. There's several different under the GALE, that are great research. So if you have kids who are going to school or they're schooling from home, that's a great resource to look up just about anything. If you have a teenager who's getting ready to get their driver's license, there's another data we have access to that is driving practice tests. It's practice tests for everything from just a regular driver's license to motorcycle to being able to drive a big truck. So it has a lot of different opportunities. We have, of course, some genealogy research databases for those out there, because our genealogy collection as a whole, it's not available for you to come in and just look at. That collection is closed off. However, just in the past year, we have opened up some tables, and if you want to do some genealogy research, you can use the microfilm machines. Space very limited. And we also have 2 chairs at 3 different tables where if you need access to a certain book, you can request it, and our staff members in adult services will go and retrieve it for you to use at that table.
Okay. And
But we
have you seen people still coming in even though you're not having, genealogy events and things like that? Are people still utilizing that service?
Well, especially since we just opened it, we haven't had access to any of that, in any of that since March, and it's
Oh,
only been maybe 3 or 4 weeks that we've been allowing access to it, but not physical access. Like you can't go look through the collection,
okay.
of those materials, but you can say, "Hey, I need this book or I need that book," and we'll retrieve it for you. And then we've opened access to those microfilm machines. I have seen people using those to look up newspaper articles.
Okay. All right. And so I want to remind everyone a lot of the information that is in the genealogy archives comes from the census, which we just had. So
Yeah,
I hope that everyone participated, everyone possible participated. So within the next 10 years, in the 10 year, no,
every
when will
10
that
years
information,
at the
every
top
10
of
years,
every decade.
I mean, that information to be available in 10 years that
No,
was
so
collected.
we're gonna. I learned this, and so I like to teach others. It's called the 72-year rule. Every
Uh,
72 years, a census is released. I don't know
oh,
why it's 72 years, but I know that I've looked at it before, but I don't remember. But every 72 years. So the next census, the only census, the last census available is the 1940 census. So if you have a family member
oh,
born in 1941, you won't get to see their census until 2022. So when I tell you that those genealogy ladies have been waiting for 2022 for a long time, gentlemen, they have been waiting because they
wow.
1950 census will come out. So anyone born 1950 or before can now access, so it's anyone born 1941, 1942 through 1950 hasn't been able to look at their census results. But so like my mom was born in the 50s, and so I won't be able to see her census until 19 or 2032 because
Okay.
it's every 10 years census results are released, but it's 72 years after the census was taken.
All right. So again, though, please, get the information in
Yeah.
because your generations to come can have access to that information. They can know where you live, possibly where, family members live, where they were from, whatever the case may be. So please fill those census out every 10 years. Okay. There are other databases. There are languages. There are, as you mentioned, different tests for a variety of subjects. So talk about some of those.
Mango Languages is our language software. I believe it's coming up. I need to look, but Talk Like a Pirate Day, I feel like
Oh
it's coming.
wow.
But that is one of the many languages that you can learn using Mango Languages. You can learn French, Spanish, Italian, English, there are just a myriad of different languages, including pirate, that you can learn. And what's awesome about our databases is it is a resource that we pay to have, and so you do put in your library card number and your PIN number when you go to access the database. But what is also great about doing that is that it will pick up where you left off. So if you were on lesson number 2, you don't have to start back at lesson number 1. You can go
Okay.
back, but you don't have to. So it'll pick up where you left off. That's another thing that we'll talk about Libby in a little bit. But if Libby, if you don't finish reading something and you check it out again, it picks up where you left off. So you don't have to
That's
remember.
awesome.
But Mango Languages is great. We also have the Testing and Education Reference Center, which again, I always say this, don't tell the other databases, but that one is my favorite. It has not only great resources, including so many friends of mine are teaching their kids at home, which I think is great if you can do that. But I
Mhm.
would, luckily, my kids are fur babies and I don't have to teach them math because they would have no shot at learning math. But what's great is the Education and Testing Reference Center. If you go to it, when you log on, you'll put in your library card number and your PIN. Your library card number is the full number on the back of your library card, and your PIN is the last four digits of your phone number. If you signed up for a library card and you don't remember what phone number you used, you can call us and we can
Okay.
reset the phone. You can come into the library and we can reset that for you. But it's whatever the last four digits of your phone number were when you signed up.
Okay.
But you can go in and it'll say what age group you're looking for. So high school or college or career, you choose that, and from there you'll get broken down into what you're looking for. And so
Okay.
click on math, it has videos in there that shows you how to do like the fill method or how to do, algebra or geometry equations. And that would have benefited me so much 1,000 years ago when I was in high school.
I wish I had checked that out when I was taking statistics. Um, about 2 years ago, I thought I was going to lose my mind. I want to say good morning to Ms. Linda Johnson Frazier and Victoria Smith and some other people who are checking it. Thank you all for checking in this morning. Again, if you have kids, grandkids, anybody you babysit in the neighborhood, let them know about all the services at the library, the databases. I've seen so many parents complain about what is this new math? What is this science? I didn't do this in school. So the library has databases galore that are at your service. I do want to ask this about the library card, go back a little bit. Um, at one point, well, before summer, you were doing the virtual. Are you still offering that service?
We are. So you can go to our website and search for, actually you could just go to search for a book, and we will have, when you go online, it'll take you to our I don't remember what it stands for. It's called an OPAC, but it's our operating system to access our collection. And you can sign up for a library card. It's also on our homepage. If you go to libraryinjonesboro.org, it's one of
Okay.
the where you can click on to get a library card. That is a temporary card. So it can be renewed twice before you would need to come in and get a permanent card.
Okay.
Uh, and so I think it's 6 months that card is good for. You can do it for 3 months at a time. You can renew it, I believe, twice.
Okay.
Um, that card grants you access to our digital collection only. So if you want to be able to come in and check out DVDs or books or any of the other materials, audiobooks, you would need the physical card. But that digital card is a wonderful resource to get you access to those digital materials, which are one of the most popular things in our collection this year: ebooks, audiobooks, music.
And I just want to stress to everyone, maybe get into some audiobooks. When you're moving around the house, you don't want to be attached to a computer or just sitting down. I think we're all kind of zoomed to death, but I mean, that's just where we are right now. And so when you click off that Zoom or whatever you're doing, pop in your headphones, or if you have a Bluetooth speaker in the house, put a book on and just, do whatever your chores are, your duties are, and just listen to a book. I mean, I like the audiobooks, one, because you get to hear someone read and they try to put in those character voices to kind of engage you more in the story. So it's not just a flat reading. It's
And a lot of
exciting.
times more than one actor. They'll have, if it's a book where you have a boy and a girl, a male and a female, they'll have different actors portray the different characters. One of my favorite things, because you get to see what that person's personality is kind of through that voice. I'm currently listening to, it's called The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, and it's kind of in the same of the time traveler's wife. It's a
Okay.
girl who doesn't age. She lives all these lives, but she can't say her name and she cannot be remembered. So she gets to live but she doesn't get to live.
Oh
If
no.
that
So
makes
she
sense.
can't tell people who she is. She
Yeah,
can't
she
tell people her name.
had to make up
Wow.
a name because the deal she made with the um I'm still, you haven't gotten to that part in the book that I'm reading.
Okay.
However, she got this way, but the deal she made, she can't say her name. So it's kind of like the Little Mermaid, Ariel
Wow.
speak, but she'll say my name is Hazel or my name is Jess or but she cannot even the part I was reading last night listening to while I was working cleaning my room. So you just do stuff, but it's fascinating these audiobooks. It's what I love about it is it may be something that if I picked up and read in the book form, I may not have enjoyed, but by having someone read to you and you get to not only hear someone reading to you, but they portray their emotions
Hmm.
as telling the story. They're fearful, or they're sad, or they're happy, and that really I'm more invested in the story. Like I want to be friends with this person. I am friends with this person. You know, um, so that's something that not only you can enjoy as an adult, but your teenagers. We've got books, YA books, because I mean, honestly, that's primarily what I check out. Um, and then we have another service. So we'll talk about Libby in just a second, but
Okay.
talking about books. So let's say how you can do it. We have a service called Access 360. It's AXIS 360. If you go to libraryinjonesboro.org and click on the e-media tab, it's one of the things in that page. Our e-media page is Access 360. I love their audiobooks. My nephew stayed with us for about or so at the beginning of summer, and I would download audiobooks like Dragons Love Tacos or just some of the different audiobooks. And what I love about the ones on Access 360 is many of are not only voiced, but they're like video illustrations.
Oh my goodness.
It's really like I would show him those while I would sit in the back seat next to his car seat. And while we were riding in the car, we would watch it. And I never knew until I showed it to him, but they're so interesting because kids, it really, like I'm just entertained by an audiobook, but kids have maybe a shorter attention span. And so having that little bit of video element to it. So it's like the book is video illustrated, if that makes sense.
Wow.
So it was really,
Wow.
but you can also just download audiobooks if you're going to see family this holiday season. You can and you have kiddos, you can check out an audiobook and play it in the car and the whole family can enjoy it, while you're driving somewhere. Even if you're keeping just your close family members, maybe you're just having just your family with the holidays, but you want to the Christmas parade is staying in your car this year, so maybe you want to listen to an audiobook or something while you do that. I take any opportunity to listen to an audiobook. So
And I know we are in this age of all of this technology, but as you were talking, I was reminded of, even though it was still before my time, I guess before TVs were invented and all they had were radios.
mhm.
And so families had to sit around and listen to the radio. And again, like you said, they had these different voices, these different actors playing these roles. And it's like, that's how people, um, I don't know, that's how they became more engaged. They were just more engaged. And they would look forward to, okay, Monday night, 7 o'clock, this show is going to come on the radio. And they sat around. I don't know. It seemed like a different time because you had to use your imagination too.
Well, just yesterday we were talking at the library about how we're kind of back to the basics now. It's do have a lot of technology, and I have at least two, if not three, Zoom meetings today.
Oh
So
God.
this is the era that we're in. But at the same time, families are getting out and playing together.
Hmm.
They're staying at home and eating supper. I know restaurants are open again, but they don't have the same capacity as they did before. And a lot of folks don't feel comfortable. I've not eaten in a restaurant since like February.
Wow.
You don't feel comfortable eating, like going out. So they're sitting at home and eating dinner together. So this is a great opportunity for you to, since we're not able to have Santa come to the library, maybe check out 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, and have the kids sit around in the living room, or if it's a pretty day, sit outside, or while you're decorating the Christmas tree, read 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. Have those same kind of experiences that you would try to have, in a different way. So I
Yeah.
think we're all just kind of examining how we do things. Something that we're going to be doing in a couple weeks around Thanksgiving is we're going to make a Facebook post asking, there's a lot of things that we haven't been thankful for this year. 2020 has thrown us a lot of
Oh
things,
wait.
you know, uh, but we want you to think about, what are you thankful for this year? Because we all have something that we're thankful for this year. It's something that has happened, or an experience that we had. So just everyone out there, be thinking about what you're thankful for, and we'll have that post up, and we'll also share some books about being thankful that you
That's
can check.
awesome. And I love how the library has a book for every theme, every holiday, every anything you can think of, there's a book for it. And so I may be calling on you all to do maybe a special Kwanzaa segment,
Absolutely.
on your page,
We would
since we're not doing anything in person this year, and I'm doing a few lecture series. So I'm letting some of the cat out of the bag. There will be a few lecture series during the week of Kwanzaa. But if the library could post something, I'll
we
be
can
very grateful.
add, we will definitely add that to our calendar.
Thank you. So you heard it here, everyone, first, but I'll put out an official message later. But anyway, um, I just want us to, while we're in this space, use our creativity. Don't be so hard on ourselves, and still find a way to be unified even while being distant. Um, and again, let's utilize the library. The library has great resources, um, books, magazines, movies, music. Oh, we need to talk about the music. Let's talk about music. We're about to go to break here in a minute though, so we might want to save some. We'll save some of that when we come back from break. But look, there's music you can get at the library. But we're going to continue our conversation a little bit on the Facebook live feed. So those of you listening on air, if you want to jump over to Facebook for a little bit, come on, because I want to get more into some more activities that's happening. And again, go to librariesinjonesboro.org. There's a calendar, there's databases, there's a variety of things for you to check out. You would never get bored, even on the library's website. You won't get bored. So, for those of you listening on air, we're going to take a quick break. Um, we'll be back after these announcements. Okay.
I always forget to even mention our CDs. I mean, in addition to audiobook CDs, we have music CDs at the library that you can check out. You can, if you want to listen to the latest, whoever artist album, you can. I really don't listen to a lot of music. I listen to audiobooks. But we have some great CDs. I'll be listening to radio and hear a band and be like, "Oh, I don't know who that is," and then I'll go check out their CD and listen to it in the car. So, anyone out there likes to listen to music a lot, I mean, we have a great CD collection. We have a Spanish collection. You can check out Spanish books and materials. We have a large print collection. Anyone who needs books with a little bit bigger work. And we also have our giant book collection. So like coffee
Oh,
table,
wait. Let me see. Giant
yeah,
is in tall
uh,
or thick
yeah,
or
both.
both? Oh,
You know,
wow. Okay.
it's called the oversized collection. So it's really books that are just bigger in size and like
Okay.
width and length.
All right.
But those are books.
Miss Vicky Lewis says she loves the library. Thank you, Miss Vicky. There's so much to offer. I remember being younger. Well, I lived in the country in the rural area, so we didn't get to go to the library, and it wasn't just a thing, at the time when I was growing up. I don't know why it wasn't a thing. And I tried to make it more of a thing when my child was younger. Of course, he wasn't that into reading. He had some struggles, and I wish I was a different parent. I'm not gonna say better parent, but just wish I had done some things differently and we just really pushed and utilized the services that the library, had to offer, or has to offer, I should say. But even as an adult, the library has a lot. We didn't even talk about adult activities and things like that.
Yes, and
Um,
I do want to talk about that because they're doing some really fun stuff over there.
all right, so we'll definitely say that we'll come back on air. So the last segment, is a little bit shorter. So we'll do adult activities, um, downloading music,
Mhm.
um, and then anything else you want to wrap up with. What's happening for the fall? Oh, anything happening with the Friends of Library?
So they have been having about once every month or month and a half, we do an outdoors book sale. I don't
Okay.
know if they'll be holding another one now that it's getting cooler.
Okay.
Know that they'll be holding another one anytime soon. They let our assistant director know, and then she lets us know. And those sales, though, they're just wonderful. They have so when we were getting ready to get our new operating system, all of us, it was all hands on deck. We took lists, and our lists were like this thick, and we went through the entire collection, every
Oh,
single thing in the library to make sure we still had it, or if we didn't have it, it was and then we had things on the shelf that we no longer had in the system.
okay.
So we also use that opportunity to discard. We run lists all the time. Anything that hasn't been checked out in a certain number of time, if
Hmm.
it's moved, we constantly have new books coming in. So things that aren't being checked out at all get discarded, but those discards go to the Friends of the Library bookshop. And
Okay.
so they've been hosting $2 book sales. And so whenever they have another one, it'll most likely be another $2 a bag. So anything you can cram in a library bag will be $2. And people are just walking away with arms full of bags.
Wow. Has the library ever done kind of I've seen some bookstores do this. It's like a brown paper cover, just
Yeah.
basically a blank cover. Have
A
y'all done
blind
that
date with a
before?
book. It's usually around Valentine's Day. Um,
Okay.
what they do is they do it around Christmas in the children's library sometimes too, but it'll be like a gift sort of thing.
Okay, we got a five. I'm sorry.
You're fine.
It's kind of like being in the studio, but all right, y'all. Welcome back to Community Conversations on Kelly K 102.5 FM. All right, so this last segment is fairly short, so I'm going to let Miss Brandy take it away with adult activities, music, and a few odds and ends things. So go ahead, Brandy.
So, over in our adult services right now, we've been primarily focused on getting our computers open. They've been open since, I believe, April or May. But we offer people can come in and use our computers, the fax machine. They can print things, copy things, and about once every month and a half, our very talented ladies and the adult and gentlemen in the adult services section have put together. They're calling them a craft crate, and when I say they go fast, they were gone in a day last time. But
Wow.
it is this past one was a yarn loom. It was really cool. It looks like so much fun. They make a video about how to do it, which is a great advertisement for it.
Okay.
They made that video. We posted that it was available, and the next day they let us know they were all gone. And
Oh,
so they are working on doing more. They said in a meeting we had yesterday that they were going to offer even more of those opportunities, because usually if we have an in-person craft event where you get to make and take something, those are always full in person. So adults have been really you said teenagers are getting really crafty. Well, those adults are, they were taking those craft crates, and we'd love if you got one and you put it together, please send us a picture and let us see what your project looks like. We would love to see it. But they're working really hard on doing more of those. I want to remind everyone that we have our Visiting the Beyond, a paranormal event hosted by Kurt Strutz on Sunday, November 8th at 6 p.m. We would love for you to attend. However, you do have to pre register. So you can go
Okay.
to our website, libraryinjonesboro.org, and click on the events tab. You can go to facebook.com and go to our page and click on the events tab. And there you will find Miss Jolene Mullet, our youth services, our teen services librarian. And her email address is on there for you to click, but it is J Mullet, JMULLET at libraryinjonesboro.org. You can email her and she will get you added to that list and email you the information about how to log on to the Zoom meeting. If you are interested at all in the event, go to Facebook and click the going button, and we will send you the link in your Facebook Messenger so that you can attend. But it is this Sunday. It is going to be all sorts of spooky and paranormal. And if you like the thing, which I'm fascinated by it. So if you want to learn more about haunted, potentially haunted places around the country, just come and join us. We talked a little bit about music. We have our CD collection, but we also have a program called Freegal. It's
Mhm.
FREGAL. And anyone who is a Sony artist, we have access to their music, and you can download multiple songs every week with your library card for free.
Great. And it's wonderful. It's when I tell you there are a lot. There are songs and artists that one I didn't know were Sony artists, but two it was just I've seen
Hmm.
old favorites, found some new favorites. So yes, um, that's a way to build your music library. But you can also listen just within the app
Yeah.
without downloading, and you could create a playlist and again get that Bluetooth speaker out or whatever you use. Some people have smart TVs. Connect your phone to your TV, use that as a speaker, whatever the case. Yeah, so get up, get moving, get some music or get an audiobook, whatever the case may be.
And if you need a library card, you can stop by the library Monday through Friday from 9 until 6, or Saturdays from 9 until 3, and you can
Okay.
get a library card. And please socially distance. But if you're coming to the Veterans Day parade tomorrow, we will be driving our book
Oh,
through it. And so we would love to see some happy faces out there as we drive through the parade. And it'll be a great
I,
opportunity to see what the bookmobile looks like.
I didn't know the parade was tomorrow. Okay. So yes, if you want to get a chance to see the bookmobile in motion, go ahead and go to the parade. Hopefully the weather will be just as nice tomorrow as it is today.
Absolutely.
All right. So in our last 2 minutes, any final things you would like to wrap up concerning the library?
Our Brooklyn branch location is not open to the public, but it is open for doing pickup services. So
Okay.
if you would like to, if you live in that area and you've been interested in doing a pickup, you can go on to our website, search for a title, make sure you click the book or DVD option that's available at the branch in Brooklyn. And then once we have your item ready, they'll give you a call and book a time and a day for you to come by and pick it up. So the services at our branches are limited, but it is something that we're just so happy that we're able to offer. Due to the pandemic, we are not able to open any of our branch libraries for in-person services.
Okay.
They are a lot smaller than our library here in Jonesboro is, not only in size of the branch, but in size of the staff. So many of those are just run by, one awesome, great librarian. Um, whereas here in Jonesboro, we have multiple people on staff and a much larger building. So we also have study rooms that you could book appointments for. So if you have a student who is learning from home and you need a different environment, we book 1 hour sessions that you can use 4 different study rooms that we have available.
All right. So many wonderful things at the library. I know it's a different atmosphere, but you can still have take advantage of what is available to you. Just be safe, wear your mask, social distance, get the babies out. Not out too much, but go get those books, take them back home, watch the videos on their Facebook page, access the databases on their webs page. Stay tuned for all activities coming up. Look, the library still has a lot to offer, so please don't count them out just yet.
Thank you so much for having me today and letting me talk about all the fun things we're doing. We're able, again, to do a lot, but we're so happy for what we're able to do.
Thank you so much, Ms. Brandi, and thank you everyone out there for listening. Have a great and happy Friday. All right. That is it. Let me stop the live. The oh shoot. Stop the Facebook live. Stop. Okay. All right. And stop recording.